What we determined was that the different ways that you look at it impact what you actually do about it. And there are opportunities and challenges with each of those. So if you look at it from a very legalistic perspective, it's quite simple to manage from a policy sense, but actually it's really problematic in terms of the law may be made by people who are themselves corrupt. It may not actually reflect what society thinks should be included in the law or not, and it just won't be able to capture some of the complexity involved in it, because for most people corruption is very much a moral and ethical issue and not just a legal one. So if you look at it Conversely, if you look at it from, say, an anthropological point of view, it may be better at capturing some of those complexities, but what you actually do with that as a policymaker is much more complicated. There's been quite a few political economy analysis tools that have been developed by donors, and what they try to get at are issues to do with, say, power, underlying structures, the way formal institutions may not actually reflect what really goes on the ground, and tools that really help you get at some of those underlying political economy issues there. So who holds the power, how do they exercise it, and what does that mean? And out of that, obviously corruption is one of the issues that emerges. What we recommended is that they actually look at how things are defined and understood in their own countries, even if that might involve undertaking a bit of analysis, not just assuming that the definition they have in their mind is shared by their counterparts within the country themselves, or at least, at the very least, to understand that it's a bit more complicated than perhaps some of the policy dialogue lets you to believe it is. I think what I'm taking away from this is that the issues around politics and how donors actually deal with politics on the ground is a huge new area, and something where there's not a lot of comfort yet or a lot of answers, but there's an awful lot of questions. I also think that the areas we're moving into, that a lot of the political economy analysis touches on, things like how you deal with governance and corruption in very fragile states, state building and aid policy and so on, will possibly change the shape of the way that donors behave and the way they do their jobs, because it does complicate things, but perhaps that's not such a bad thing.